Chris, good evening. My name is Wachatman. A huge disappointment. With this result, do you still feel the edge? And do you think you are the right man to coach the Black
Stars? To your first part of the question, you are right. It's a huge disappointment after a defeat against Mexico, where if I'm being honest, I thought in the first half period in Mexico we was okay, but certainly not in the second half. What I wanted was a reaction today. I fielded a team that I felt would give us enough control in the middle of the park and enough threat up front. But we conceded 3 goals in, I think, a 19-20 minute period. And at that stage, the game changes completely. So for a question of getting back into the game and getting goals, it becomes making sure that we don't concede more. All 4 goals we conceded, which, if I'm looking at the difficulties that we've had, generally the difficulties it's been more about scoring goals than it has been about defending. But when you concede 4 goals in a period of time, and I would have to be honest with you, we had a goalkeeper that had to make a couple of good saves. It could have been more at half time. So this is hugely disappointing and not something that I expected. All I wanted was a reaction from the last game. If you're asking me if I feel I'm the right person, yes I do. The result today is something that is hugely disappointing. We have 2 games in November, 2 big games in November, 2 big World Cup games in November, and it's our responsibility and my responsibility as coach to turn these bad defeats and bad performances into better ones and ones where we can win both games.
Good evening, Coach. My name is Felix and I from ETLF and University of Cape Coast. So my question is to Jordan. I know you are all doing very well in your respective clubs. Kudus is doing well, you are doing well, you won Player of the Month and so on. Even Atizigi was best keeper in Switzerland and so on. What is really the problem when you guys come to play for Black Stars? Because when you come to play for the Black Stars, we don't see that performance you are exhibiting in your various clubs. So what is really the problem with you guys?
Well, to answer your question, first of all, I just feel like we just need a bit of more time because it's a new group, a lot of new players, and most of the players are really inexperienced. So it's not easy, but we're working on it because we know we don't have time, and this type of games is a reality check. And now we know our level, and we have to keep working hard to get this cohesion together and to learn how to play together and all those things. So it will come with time, but we all know that in football there's not really time. So we're pushing hard and we're trying our best to have better performances as a team, and with time it will come.
This is for you. I know you are not a happy man now. You played 2 games, conceded 6 goals. So I would want to know from you, what have you identified technically wrong with your team and how you intend to remedy it?
I mean, all you can do to change things is look for a reaction. We have 2 games next month, different types of games. What we've learned, of course, in these 2 games is that we've played against 2 teams away from home that are both highly ranked teams that we found it very difficult against. I mean, today even more so. I think with the quality of their finishing and the pace of their attack, defensively we could not cope with that. and this is something that's maybe a little bit different to how we've been. We can only do that by some consistency. You know, what we have got is that we, as Jordan has said, we have some new players, some young players in the squad. The squad has changed a lot, you know, over this period of time, and I think we've probably over the last year had 12 new players, 13 new players that have come into the squad. You know, we also, and we on a night like tonight and a day like Saturday, we don't look for any excuses, because we put 11 players out on the pitch and we expect the team to perform. But we are missing some big players also, you know, particularly defensively. Players like Amati and Jiku and Salisu, and of course Joseph Edu, who has come on to, I think, a good game over a period of time. So we are missing some big players, but this is no excuse. You know, this was about a performance today that we fell well short. We have to continue to work with the players that we have. Hope that come November that we can have a fully fit squad to choose from, and of course look to get 2 wins in our 2 World Cup games.
Coach, in your last press conference, you did indicate that you gave away 2 goals in the Mexican game, and I asked you specifically about the right back, Seydou Aliou, and today the same thing. We also gave away, if not more than 2 goals. Can you explain to us the technical or the tactical bit, what you took from the previous game, and then coming into this game, we were not able to remedy that problem and it still cost us? Can you explain the technical and tactical bit for us?
Okay, well, I think when I spoke about giving away poor goals, it's you that has mentioned a particular player, and I certainly haven't. You know, if I'm looking at the squad that we have, you know, we have a back 4 that play today that are generally playing regular at their squad. We are short in defensive areas. Tariq Lamptey obviously was initially in the squad and of course had to pull out through injury, and the other players that I mentioned. Tactically, I'm very open in the way that we wanted to play. We wanted to play a 2 in central midfield. We wanted to play Jordan in an off the front position, in a 10 position, and use the quality that we have in the wide areas in Pansel and Kudus. So this is the shape that we wanted to play, to be able to give Jordan, Iñaki and the 2 wide players the possibilities of playing what are their natural attacking games. We have to be more in the game, you know, and we did. We tried at times to build up in good possession, and I thought in possession wise we started the game well, in possession wise. But what we have to be able to do is we come up against a team that pressed very well, a very well drilled team. This team have been together and played a lot of games together. They're very well drilled, and when they win possession, they break very fast. And we wasn't able to get through them lines to be an attacking threat ourselves. And of course, by that time, at some stage, we were 3-0 down, and it then becomes more about making sure that you don't concede again than scoring goals yourself. So tactically, this is what the plans were. But ultimately, you have got to be in the game. You've got to be in the game and not to conceded to be able to bring that plan of action right through.
All right, Coach. In the previous press conference, I asked you about the goal scoring problems of the Black Stars. Again, we drew blank in this one. Are we going to see a radical change from you, considering we've tried personnel change and it's not happening? What sorts of changes are you going to impact in the next games that gives Ghanaians confidence, especially going into a major tournament in a couple of months?
Well, this is my responsibility, and it's not as if we haven't changed things. You know, if for those that have followed, you know, generally we've played, you know, a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 in 2 of our games. Okay, in the last game against Mexico and of course against Liberia, we played a 3 at the back. So we are searching. We are searching and we are working hard to try to find the right formula to get that correct balance between not conceding goals, but more so to be able to score goals that will win us games. And we'll just continue to work as hard as we can on correcting the methods to make sure that we are successful.
Coach, Russell Yafi. I'm not privy to the entire, meetings and all of that, especially after the game was started. But why are we not seeing these faces, especially with Andre? Because his commitment with the team is out there, right? So why are you not seeing the general captain of the team in the squad? And Jordan, do you miss your brother? These 2 questions.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I think the first question is relevant. I don't think the second one is actually. So, so as regards Andre, I think there's no doubt about what his commitment is to the Black Stars. There is no doubt. But Andre has been in every squad, I think. At this particular moment, he hasn't been playing really, even though he's somebody that keeps himself very fit. Was involved in the September games. This is a question of not bringing him because it's an opportunity to look at some other players. We know Andre backwards and what he can give us.
So you've been with the team for a while now. In the 7 games that you've played, you've only won 2 games. If you're adding Liberia, so 3. In 7 matches, we've scored 7 goals. We've conceded 9. We've had 7 shots on target in 7 games. In this game alone against the USA, the US had 8 shots on target in just 1 game. So clearly we are not creating enough. The call-ups have been questionable, most notably Edmond Ado has not played. He's played 14 minutes. And the last time he played was in July of this year for his club level. He's constantly in the national team. There are other players that have been called up, have not been given minutes. You indicated the fact that you're trying new players. We've seen a player like Colin Stoffer, who has been called up many times. He's not been given enough minutes, except in the game against Liberia. We haven't played well. The football hasn't been pleasing in the eye. I think you admitted to that much. We are conceding. We've conceded 9. We're not scoring. So when you look at everything that has happened, do you genuinely think that since you took over the team, we've made some steps forward, and there's enough justification for us to believe that you're the man for the job going forward?
Okay, so you've mentioned a lot of things there, and it's a very long question. I think I understand all the criticisms. I understand because I've been doing this a long time, and I know what the game means to Ghanaians. I know. There is also a positive. You know, we have qualified for African Cup of Nations, and if anybody thinks that it's given to you, it's not. You know, we have had to go through a qualification group, and we would have been favourites in the group for sure. This I know, but there are some positives. It's my responsibility to build this team. I have to work around some of the issues that we always have as regards injuries, players missing from squad, trying to get consistency in the team, and we will continue to strive to get the right formulas. I've also been involved in the game long enough to know sometimes you can go through what we regard as bad periods to come out better for it. And sometimes the bad performances like today can be something that can kickstart something else, or it can be something that makes my mind up about a certain system, way of playing, players, or what have you. So we the only thing we can do is we can use this. I understand the disappointment. And I can tell you, there's nobody that's more disappointed than what I am.
Please, 2 final questions and we are done. We'll pick one from either side. So, Brenya, okay.
Thank you very much, Harry. Harry, Coach, the game kick starts 12:30 a.m. in Ghana, and the results and performance were not particularly good. What would you say to the millions of Ghanaians who stayed up late in the night to watch this game back home?
Yeah, I think what's obvious is that I am very, very conscious. I am very conscious of what the game means in Ghana. I am very conscious, and for any performance that we put in, like we did today, or the scoreline that we did today, we are very sorry, very, very sorry for a nation that have stayed up late into the night that would have been expecting better. I take responsibility for this. I work with a group of players, and I determine the tactics, I pick the team. Okay, so certainly as an apology, which I think is what you're referring to, yes, I apologise for the result and the performance in a first half period. And it again is my responsibility to make sure that we have 2 games in November, is that we start to see a performance that is going to win us both games.
Okay, I'm afraid. Coach, you've been with the team for close to a year now, so you have a fair idea of the squad. But from the World Cup to date, we are retrogressing, and you keep giving us excuses. Do you truly appreciate the magnitude of the job you're handling? This is a football-loving nation, Ghana. You've not won a game away from home, and we're miserable. Do you think you can handle this job? Do you think you are the magnitude of being the head coach of the Black Stars? You think you can handle this job with all of the excuses? You give us fine excuses every day.
Okay, so I'll go back over this. We spoke about a period of time, and do I appreciate? Yes, I do appreciate. I spend a lot of time in Ghana. Okay, I go to a lot of games, not only in Accra, but throughout the country. So I fully appreciate what football means in Ghana. I know that, and in particular when there are very, very difficult times. So this, first and foremost, yes, I appreciate. You're asking the question about myself. Yes, I do think coaches go through and teams go through difficult periods. Okay, and we are going through a difficult period as regards putting the performances that can see us scoring goals to win games. That has been difficult. There are some aspects of our game that has been okay. Okay, and the fact again that we have qualified for AFCON, then we've obviously done enough. We've done enough to win the group, not just to qualify, but to win the group and qualify for AFCON. That's the balance, and the balance is that from there we need to develop more. If we're going to go into a tough AFCON tournament in January, we need to develop more. And all I can say and promise is that I will continue to work as hard as I can to pick the right squads, to pick the right tactics, to win the games that we need to win, to do well.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.